And the reappointments are as follows. Resolution number 56, which is still introduced by Henry Nixon, and that's resolution consenting to the reappointment of Phyllis Ann Dowling as a member of the York City Human Relations Commission to serve in said capacity until July 16th, 2016.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Is there a second? Okay. Any comments from council? Public? Which is vanishing in a great hurry.
Fast on the trigger there, Mr. Nixon. Let me make a brief comment.
Oh, yes, please do.
And just that I have a great respect for Ms. Dowling and for her work for decades in the community and particularly in my part of the city. However, the actions that I witnessed at some of the meetings of the Human Relations Commission in late 2012 and early 2013 give me a lack of confidence in those members. And that's my comment.
Vice President Nixon, Manuel Gomez, City of York. I'd like to echo the councilman's statement. This is not orchestrated in any shape, form, or fashion. I haven't had any contact with anyone of this board, especially on this matter. But I would like to say I do stand here before you to respectfully protest the reappointment of Mrs. Dowling. Again, with great respect due to any work she has accomplished in the community and all the fulfillments, notwithstanding the pattern of behavior undertaken by the Human Relations Commission for the period of about at least over a year, which we saw here and it was documented entirely. Members not showing up at meetings. Actions that resulted in me filing a Sunshine Act complaint, where I saw that Ms. Dowling herself was a party to what I still consider to this day was subterfuge and violations of the provisions of the Sunshine Act. And it was done without protest by various members of the Human Relations Commission. The lack of respect displayed to the public at meetings and in the span of time before meetings. I was privy to a lot of commentary that I think is unbecoming of public servants. Won't get into it here. I'm simply here to tell you that I do stand to protest the reappointment of Phyllis Dowling. We can find other individuals who can serve with greater diligence, greater commitment, and better respect for the public and the mission and the stated goals of the Human Relations Commission, and that will be able to fulfill the intent of a duly enacted ordinance, which I don't think was being carried out properly by members such as Mrs. Dowling. So I would urge this board to not reappoint.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Yes, Councilman Nixon, thank you very much. Ralph Serpi, Secretary Treasurer of the York City Human Relations Commission. I'm also acting chair as the chair of the commission in late November and December, and in the meetings in the early part of this year is no longer on the commission. So the leadership of the commission has changed. We've actually met through the summer. We have not had a summer recess. All the engagement with the public, with our publicly posted meetings, seems to have lost its shine and attention. But I can tell you there are two no greater assets to the Human Relations Commission than Phyllis Dowling and Victor Brown. At a time when, as volunteers, we have taken an oath to uphold the Human Relations Commission ordinance in the city, and when personal issues became very personal at public meetings, both Phyllis Dowling and Victor Brown stayed in their volunteer positions through very dark times, when more than half the commission stepped down because they did not want to be subject to the abuse that comes from sitting at the dais. You can shake your head, Michael, but that's the truth. So we do have new leadership on the commission. Once we bring our complement up and add the three commissioners through this process and reappoint two, we still have four other nominees that we are forwarding to the mayor's office for interview with the president of city council and the mayor's office for appointment to the commission. That new constituted group of commissioners will choose their officers at that time, and that will be your new leadership.
Thank you.
I would just like to say, speaking for those that aren't here to represent themselves, but through letters and contact that I had with members that stepped down from that board, it was not due to the public that they stepped down. It was due to the, I don't want to use the word perceive, the feeling of impropriety that they felt from the actions of the board, and they did not want to partake in that. So let's be clear, we can put some PR on here, but I'm relating what I was told by those members that stepped down. And I want to also make it clear that my opinion and my vote today is completely based on the procedure that I observed and has nothing to do with the outcome of any staff that, due to the fact that this council has still not received any report on the study done on the cases, the history of the cases of the HRC, and we learned today that from the solicitor's office and from the Human Relations Commission that this council, who created the commission and who funds the commission in a great part, will not be allowed to see any of this information that tells us if this commission's even doing its job. I just find it difficult. I'm sorry I went off on a little tangent there, but that is what happened today. And I will be happy to see the fresh blood, the fresh folks, the fresh volunteers that we appointed today. Also in a communication with the mayor suggested that we want a good foundation and rebuilding of this commission, and I would suggest that a good foundation starts with good, solid new blocks instead of those that have given me, and I think some other members of the council, concern.
Anyone else? No. We don't need to have a debate, but you're welcome to make a comment.
I'm not debating. My comment is Phyllis Dowling and Victor Brown are two of the strongest foundations the Human Relations Commission has had, especially through the last 5 months through its rebuilding. They stuck through it. They've come to every meeting. They've done the work. Right now, Phyllis Dowling is helping us identify a part-time investigator to carry the remaining 15 open cases we have through to completion. If you were not to appoint her, that would fall onto someone new who would start that process from the beginning. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, Cindy Mitchell, 825 South Newberry Street. I would like to remind the council that if it wasn't for the present members of the commission, we probably would not have a commission, and that the members have put a lot of time and effort into correcting mistakes from the past and developing new ways of dealing with things. And as a past member of the commission, I'd be sorry to have not been there to have helped us to get to the point where we are getting new members. And I guess I'd like a pat in the back for standing by and doing it rather than an attack.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just wanted to add one more thing, and I'm not sure if these are the same 4 members. I don't think so. So I'm hearing that the HRC has 4 members that they're going to be bringing up, 4 new members for approval. Also, I was in touch with the NAACP, and they are going to be submitting the names of some folks. So I believe within the next, are they the same?
Councilman, the NAACP has put people forward. They were in the first round of folks that have been interviewed by your council president and the mayor.
Okay, the mayor has communicated with the NAACP that they have until September, till the end of September, to submit another list.
Yeah, can we vote on what's on
Yes,
before us?
I just want to complete the idea that,
We've had that offer open since last November.
Yep.
We have responded to everyone who stepped forward to
Okay.
who expressed an interest.
just wanted to suggest that there are even more folks, so I can foresee us having a full complement.
Good. Right. Now we call the vote, please.
Okay. Humphrey?
No.
Nixon?
Yes.
Satterlee?
No.
Nelson? No. So, she wasn't reappointed.
Right.
I wrote the vote on the wrong resolution, so just give me a second here. Alright, then the next resolution is resolution number 57, and that's introduced by Henry Nixon. Be it resolved that council hereby consents. I'm sorry, on that last one, my microphone wasn't on. The resolution did not pass, and Phyllis Dowling was not reappointed to the York City Human Relations Commission. Now we're moving on to resolution number 57, which was introduced by Henry Nixon, and it is reappointing Victor E. Brown as a member of the York City Human Relations Commission to serve in said capacity until July 16, 2016.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion on council?
I just want to make sure that I reinforce what Michael has said. I don't want him to stand alone on this. I'm in agreement with what he said about, and that is what is driving my vote. So I just want to be clear about that.
Members of the public?
Vice President Nixon, Manuel Gomez, City of York.
Still?
I'm a little bit ultra formal sometimes. I'd like to say that I once again echo the same sentiments that I brought before the board when the reappointment of Mrs. Dowling was on the table. Mr. Brown's performance is not becoming of someone that should be reappointed to the Human Relations Commission. To speak of just some of the procedural issues that had occurred, there were moments when minutes were not provided. There were moments when the Human Relations Commission refused to convene, didn't notify the press or the public as to why. We also have the lingering issue, unfortunate to say, of the report that has yet to be released. Again, I will reiterate, I filed a Sunshine Act complaint for what I estimate was subterfuge and violations of the provisions of the Sunshine Act and gross dereliction of duties with regard to public procedure. None of those issues have been addressed, not satisfactorily, not conspicuously. What we've seen is, as it was accurately referred to, is PR. Public relations. That's all we've seen. We've seen a lot of walking back. And I think that in order to discontinue walking back and to move forward, you should, once again, deny this reappointment. It's unfortunate that others aren't here to protest this. But as the Human Relations Commission retracted into a position of confinement and wasn't public, wasn't providing minutes, wasn't issuing agendas, basic documentation, the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of running a public meeting that weren't being fulfilled. Mr. Brown was a party to this action. He did it without protest. In fact, he was a willing participant in it. So I would say that you deny the reappointment of Mr. Brown for the same reasons that you denied the appointment of Mrs. Dowling.
Thank you.
Let me say one more thing. Now, Mr. Vice President Nixon, if you would allow me, so that we don't have to speak for others and introduce conjecture into this, we'll say one thing. The immediate past chair of the Human Relations Commission, as I understand it, issued a very public statement as to why she stepped down, wherein she said she didn't step down because of the pressures of being in a public position. To the contrary, she said she stepped down because of the internal dissolution, impropriety, and I quote, disrespect shown to the board, its mission, and members of the public. Let it be clear.
Council, before you vote to remove the second African-American member of the York Human Relations Commission, I ask you to vote for the reappointment of Victor Brown. He has served well in his short tenure on the commission. Again, our leadership has changed since last November and earlier this year. If you do not vote to reappoint Victor Brown, we will have one African-American member of the HRC volunteering. Thank you.
We call the vote?
I just want to make one final comment. Since this comment was made by the chair of the HRC, I had the discussion with the president of the NAACP, and she is completely in favor of removing these two members from the Human Relations Commission. And as I said earlier, the NAACP will be putting forward some more of their own nominations within the next month.
I appreciate that. I've had 8 months.
Thank you. Can we call the roll, please?
Yeah, I just want to mention that I'm very appalled for you to stand here and pull the race card, considering what you represent. What I'm giving is his resume, and I'll just read something on here that even says he's fluent in Spanish. I had no idea what his race was. I could have assumed he was Hispanic because it says he's fluent in Spanish. But for you to say what I'm removing, that's just not.
I'm very concerned that the actions of council tonight are removing two African-American members of the Human Relations Commission. I'm very concerned about that.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I am voting to remove two human beings that I did not think acted appropriately.
Thank you, Michael. Now can we call the roll?
Helfrich,
No.
Nixon,
Yes.
Satterlee,
No.
Nelson,
No.
And that does not carry. Now we can move on to the next resolution.